Welcome back to the DTC Slingshot Podcast. I'm your host, Lockie Thompson, and I'm also the founder of Social Slingshot, a paid advertising agency. This podcast is your go-to resource for entrepreneurs seeking insights from industry leaders and experts. If you have magically stumbled across this podcast, then I'm truly grateful that you've chosen to listen. If you have any specific questions or topics you'd like us to cover, then don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram at Lockie Social Slingshot. While this podcast is tailored to the broader e-commerce community, if you are ever in need of direct marketing assistance, then Social Slingshot is here to help. Our mission is to drive as much success for as many e-commerce brands as possible by being the most results-driven and client-focused agency on the market. Now, with all that boring admin stuff taken care of, let's jump into today's episode. G'day guys, welcome back to the DTC Slingshot Podcast. Today I'm joined with Kalinda, the owner of what's arguably the most famous gym towel you've ever encountered, and famous for its viral social media TikToks as the world's coolest cum rag. It's a tale of humor, innovation, and smashing social media expectations. And trust me, it's a story you won't forget. Kalinda, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you. What a big intro. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, for sure. So as I said, it's a story that you won't forget. You're one of the only brands that I've actually brought from twice. So just want to give us a quick rundown on what makes you so great.
So, my name's Kalinda. I am the owner of Cheeky Winx, and we sell funky gym towels, beach towels, golf towels, and grip socks. But the thing which really makes us stand out in the market is we also offer personalisation, which is really where we blew up. So we personalize all types of things on the towels.
Yeah, and what's the most famous thing?
The most famous thing, and actually probably the most requested thing, which is pretty disgusting, would be cum rag and also squirt rag. Other than that, we do get a lot of normal names, which is the more common thing, but the most requested one word would be cum rag.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm guessing that's how you first blew up on TikTok. Anybody who's out there needs to go check out your TikTok. You absolutely do a fantastic job. And it's probably been one of the biggest driving factors behind your business. But yeah, was that the first thing that really kicked it off?
Yes, it was. So back in the day when we first started, we first got one cum rag order and I was like, this would be funny to post. So I made a video of it, posted it. And it was one of me personalizing sloth's towel. And I was like, these poor sloths, no. And then that just blew up. And then more people requested it. Then more videos would go viral of the cum rags. And then we got even more disgusting requests. And then we would film that. And it was sort of like a snowball effect. So it went really good. Pretty disgusting, very different. But hey, it worked.
Yeah, for sure. And what actually inspired you to start a cum rag business?
Well, it wasn't the cum rag side of things. It was more the gym towel. So it was during COVID and I'm actually a pharmacist. So I was doing that full time. But during COVID, things just got a little bit crazy and I kind of just wanted to leave the industry for a bit. It was too hard, like with my son and school pickups and all the school closures. So I was just thinking, I really want to do a business. I had tried one at the start of COVID and it was a fail. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try again, just keep trying. And then I was at the gym one day and I looked around. This was with my business partner as well, who's also my partner. We were looking around and everyone just had the ugliest gym towels. I think I was using a tea towel. He was using a bath mat. And I was like, what about funky gym towels? And we're like, okay, this could actually work. So that's sort of what inspired us behind the business. And then for the embroidery side of things, I had a embroidery machine from the other business that I tried to start. So I was like, okay, we can also personalize the towels because I've already got the machine. And then that's where the personalization came from.
Yeah, for sure. And just to touch on, we haven't spoken about this yet, but do you want to give us a quick rundown on what your previous business was and why that might have failed, some of those struggles that you went through and the realization that that wasn't going to work out?
Yes. So for me, I think the biggest thing was timing, but it was also my first time. So I had launched a business called Luzo where it was bow ties, so beautiful silk bow ties, but where you could get them personalized. So you could get like your initials personalized on it or a special date. So really good for weddings or special anniversaries or like groomsmen with their initials, something a little bit different. However, I had thought of it just before COVID and launched pretty much when COVID came into play and all weddings, formals, everything was cancelled. So kind of was just a big flop. And then I tried really hard. It just didn't work. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to call it quits.
Yeah, fair enough. That time, it was a time where lots of businesses did close down. But I think every second guest, or pretty much 3/4 of the guests that come on this podcast, were like, "Oh my god, we started during COVID." So
Yeah.
it was
You
a
had time
bad and
to.
also a good time.
Yeah. So
And
now I have thousands of bow ties at home. So they're just sitting in boxes.
yeah, cool. So with obviously COVID and everyone being at home on social media and you going viral on TikTok, like how long were you actually running the business before that kicked off?
I probably hadn't started posting on TikTok for the first couple of months. Like it was still a really new thing to me. I didn't even have an account. I was posting on Instagram and then downloaded TikTok, started posting on there, and then I'd always see the videos you had to post consistently. So I was like, all right, I'll just take it to the extreme and post 4 or 5 times a day. After doing that for maybe 3 months, so it might have been just under a year into the business, like the first viral, like I got my first viral TikTok, and then I kept posting and then more kept going viral. And yeah.
Yeah. And what sort of impact did that have on your business? Because a lot of people say that the quality of the TikTok audience isn't, say, as strong as a platform like Google or Meta. What did that do to your Shopify store? Like, was it really high sessions, low conversions, or were you just getting smashed with orders you couldn't even keep up?
It depended on the video. So we had some videos go viral where it would get like a couple million views, but would have no website traffic. So didn't really get anything from that. But I was like, oh, it's still a high performing video. And I guess it helps with the algorithm for other things. But then other videos, not even with a call to action, but just showing the product and people were interested. Sometimes we'd normally just say we'd get like 100, 200 visitors a day. This is in the beginning, would all of a sudden get like 2,000 visitors. And like the conversion rate is a lot lower, but still just getting all those visitors onto your site and the exposure. You've got them in your middle of funnel that you can target with your Facebook ads. But then also some do convert. So that's where all the other cum rag orders came from, because people were like, oh, this is so funny. And so they got it themselves too.
Yeah, for sure. And with the TikTok strategy, or there would be a strategy behind you going viral so many times, you just want to share some insights with the listeners to how you go about things. Because I went to a retreat on the weekend and there was plenty of business owners there, and everybody's like always content, content, content. But most of them, there's like some sort of block in their brain where they can't just pull out their phone and start talking to the camera. So how did you get first started with that, and how has that strategy developed over time as well?
Well, I think TikTok has changed a little bit in the past few years. So for my account now, I found it a little bit harder to go viral than when I first started. But I think this is because more businesses are doing ads as well. But really, you just need that big hook. So, like for us, for the cum rags, would be like, we just got the most disgusting order, and then the watch time would be there. So if you get a certain amount of watch time, normally the video performs a lot better. So if you can just keep them engaged for the first like 3 to 4 seconds to just get hooked into the video, then normally the videos perform much
Yeah,
better.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, first 3 seconds, pretty much 80% of your attention needs to be there, and then the rest of the video can sort of attention hack them.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I'm assuming you did a lot of the TikTok posting yourself, but recently you've got somebody else featuring on the TikTok quite a lot. Is that somebody who was already working in your business, or somebody you brought in just for social media, or how's that working? Because she's excellent at what she does, and most brands are like, oh, I can't find anybody to post content for me.
Yeah, no, she's amazing. So her name's Jane, and she started, I think a few months ago now. So she's primarily just working on our socials. So like Reels, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube. She's emails as well. Like she's amazing at what she does. And we've even had some viral videos since she started, which is exciting.
Yeah, so it sounds like you found a bit of a unicorn. Where
Yes.
do you find somebody like this, where you're posting on like Seek or LinkedIn, or did you just happen to throw out a script for a UGC creator and she happened to be good and you just ended up hiring her, or how'd that work?
On Seek actually, but we had gifted her some products in the past, and then we also like knew of her through other members at the gym. So I think one of the members at the gym like told her about the job, and then she also applied.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, because there's a lot of different ways to find employees, but it's a bit like with e-commerce brands especially, like a lot of people are online, but you've got the warehouse as people can see behind you if they're watching on video. So yeah, it's a bit easier to create content when you've got that sort of setup
Cool.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So obviously you've been growing pretty rapidly. So you launched during the lockdowns, and then just want to give me a bit of a rundown on how you've been able to keep that growth moving over the past couple of years.
Yes. So for the growth, when we first started, we were living in a tiny little townhouse, didn't even have a garage in a spare bedroom slash study. As we outgrew that, we're like, okay, we need to find a place that has a garage. And in a city, living in Brisbane is very expensive. So we're like, okay, this is going to be hard. We managed to find a place that had a single garage, and we're like, this should do. So then we sort of filled that up with boxes, and then we were living there for maybe a year and a half, and we're like, okay, it's time to expand again. So we were like, we need something even bigger. So we moved to a townhouse with a double garage, and then we outgrew that after like another year. And then luckily my business partner's parents, they live in a massive old Queenslander, and it was completely empty underneath. So we've slowly started to build under their house. So we've had this warehouse now for probably a year, and we're just extending it now to make it even bigger.
Right. So you're still under your partner's parents' house right now?
Yes, still there. But it's a massive warehouse.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely a not anywhere else you would probably find across Australia. It'd have to be in Queensland.
Yes, no. But yeah, that's definitely like how we've expanded growth wise, like being in a place. Otherwise, we've also expanded like on advertising spend. So that's helped. Like when we first started, we probably did like $50 a day, then $100 a day, then like $300 a day for a very long time. And now we just do a lot more than that.
Yeah, for sure. So you told me before we jumped on this call that it took you about 2 years to hit your first $1 million. And then I'm assuming over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas lead up, you did actually $1 million in those 2 months. You just want to give me a rundown on how you sort of planned for that and then executed as well.
Yes. So we start planning probably in June, because we really need enough stock for the whole Christmas period, as that's our busiest time of the year, selling beach towels. But then also with all the personalisation, it just makes such a good gift for pretty much anyone. So we start planning in June just to make sure we've got all the stock here, because we get everything made, or most things made overseas, and then sea freight takes sometimes like 2 to 3 months, and then with delays as well. So we need to make sure we have enough money in our bank account to actually order all of that stock. And then coming up to the period as well, we start to spend a lot more in advertising. But if you spend more in advertising, you also need a lot more creative to use on the Meta, so on Instagram and Facebook ads. So it was just creating a lot of different ads, like over 100 different ads to just run through, so people don't see the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. And you spoke about the personalized features of your product. What percentage of sales are they for you? Because I imagine they're a pretty big part, and not everybody goes down the personalization route, probably because it's so time ineffective, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, so about 30% of our customers choose to do personalization. It probably goes up a little bit more during the gifting season, but it is a pretty decent amount. So currently we've got 2 embroidery machines, and I think during probably in October we'll purchase another 2, because that's what really let us down in the previous period, is just we couldn't catch up. Every day we just get further and further behind with the embroideries, because they take a long time to do.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good problem to have.
Yes, a very good problem.
Yeah, cool. So
Stressful.
yeah, it sounds like you're absolutely dominating the Australian market at the moment, and you're looking at heading over into the US. Do you just want to give me a rundown on that?
So we attempted to do the US, which is a little bittersweet. Actually, this time last year. So we thought everything was going good. We sent all the stock over, and it was a really big risk for myself and my business partner, because we still weren't making a huge amount in Australia. Like, we still don't own a house. Like, still my partner works another full-time job. I hardly pay myself like a couple $100 a week. So we didn't have a lot of money behind us, but we're like, oh, American market could be really good. So we sent all the stock over there was probably like $200,000 worth of stock, which is a lot more than we can actually afford. So we had like maxed out all our cards to just really get the stock over there. Then we had also flown over there to visit the fulfillment center we were going to put our stock in, and they seemed fine. They'd worked with other massive brands like Sony, other brands we know that I can't really talk about. But yeah, they looked good. We're like, okay, this is good. Their pricing's good. Flew back over to Australia. All our stock arrived there. And then we started to spend money in advertising, and we didn't really realize how much money we needed to spend in America to actually set up a proper business over there, because no one knew of our products. We weren't infiltrated into any gyms. So it was like people were only seeing us for the first time, and you normally need to see something quite a few times before anyone purchases. So we didn't really think about that, and we're like, okay, we're going to need a lot of money in advertising. So we were very stressed for quite a while, just trying to like put every single cent we could into the American advertising, and it started to work. However, then as our orders started to grow in America, unfortunately, the fulfillment center really let us down. We'd signed a contract where everything should have been fulfilled within 48 hours, but they were taking up to 2 weeks to send orders. And then people would be emailing us being like, where's my order? We would email them. They wouldn't reply to us. They'd take like a week to reply to us, or they wouldn't reply, and then we wouldn't know what to send to the customer, so we'd just refund them. And it was costing us a lot of money, a lot of stress. And then after a while of this happening, we decided to pull all our stock from the fulfillment center and send it back to Australia. So a bit of a very expensive learning curve.
Yeah, for sure. And how long was that going on for, and how long do you think it set you back for?
So we sent the stock over in May, and we got it returned in October, which luckily it arrived just before the Christmas period, but we could have really used the stock during the pre-Christmas period, because we ran out of a lot of stock in Australia. But it's okay. It's a positive. At least we got it back.
Yeah, for sure. It could have like fallen to the bottom of the ocean or something on the way.
Yeah, or they could have just stolen it, or who knows. But
yeah. So is that like in your vision anytime soon, or you just sort of just like, no, we're not doing that for a fair while?
I wouldn't, I know fulfillment centers work for a lot of other companies, but I wouldn't ever do it again just after what happened to us. Even though we had a contract in place, they just didn't stick to it. We probably could have got like some legal action, but we didn't have the money to do that, and we were just like, everything's too stressful, we'll just send it back. But if I was to expand again, I would just send everything from Australia, because it makes it a little bit hard for us, because we offer the option for personalisation, and a lot of fulfillment centres can't do that, or their error rate's really high. So it makes it quite tricky.
Okay, yeah, that's a few good points in there. So I guess, what are your goals now that the American market didn't work out as you expected? What are some of the goals within Australia and over the next 12 months or so?
Over the next 12 months, we want to release new designs and new products. So me and my business partner were really running ourselves to the ground, because it was sort of just us two, and then we'd have some employees to help pack orders and do embroidery, but we didn't really help. For me, social media was like a big thing. I always did it, and it just, as anyone knows, it takes a long time to create videos, think of things. So I was like, the first thing I want to do is hire someone to help with marketing, and we've got Jane now, and she's amazing. So that's really freed up my time. So now I can focus on like new products and new designs. So we'll hopefully have a lot of new things coming out later this year.
Yeah, for sure. And with Jane, like, I know you sort of roped her into some product designs. I saw a TikTok on that.
Yes.
And she did some, I can't remember exactly what it was. Just want to describe to the audience what she designed, and you weren't too happy from it from memory.
Yes, so it was marketing. We were doing like an April Fool's thing where she was pretending, or she was showing us some designs that she had created for our business. The first one was a coriander towel. So I hate coriander. I was like, nope. And same with my business partner. The second one was like a dick towel, or a penis towel, but it was like mushroom penises all over it. And she's like, people can get cum rag on this. And I was like, oh no, because like our main target audience is like women in their 20s to 50s. So part like the older generation would probably find that quite offensive. And then the third one was a Taylor Swift one, and we're like, no, there's licensing issues with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you see like a fair few of those style of the social media videos where the marketing intern or person just gets absolutely roasted by the boss and they're like, oh, save me. Like, I need to get 10,000 views on this video. Save my job. So yeah, no, I quite enjoyed that one. So yeah, good job on that.
That's good.
Just reflecting on your business journey, obviously America didn't go so well. What are some of the other struggles that you faced within your business and some key areas that you've struggled with?
Yeah. So in the beginning, one of the big things we struggled with was actually our supplier. So with the towels, like, because we get so many printed as well, and there's like double designs. The first probably 5 manufacturers we had, their error rate was really high. So probably like 10% of towels would be faulty. There'd be like an ink stain or an ink splatter or just something wrong with the towel. So we kept jumping from supplier to try find a better one. And then we eventually found one, but just I didn't realize you could have like contracts in place for quality control. So we now have something like that in place. So if you are a new business looking at a new supplier, make sure you have something to do with quality control and a contract beforehand, or even pay a percentage after you receive the product. So you know that if you're happy with it, then they're going to get the rest of their money. And they should be happy to do that because they should be sending you like proper product with nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of them in the beginning. And then the other ones were because like marketing was very new to me because I was a pharmacist and I had no idea with marketing. So I tried to learn as much as I could through YouTube and like Facebook forums. But I tried and it just wasn't working that well with like the meta ads. So we went with a marketing agency, and they are so expensive. You normally have to pay like a $2,000 sign up fee, and then they're like a $2,000 monthly fee, which is pretty cheap for a marketing agency. But when you're doing like $400 of sales a day, like you can't afford that. But anyway, we signed up with that. They just completely tanked our ads. They were even worse than when I was doing it. But they're like, oh, you need to like give it a go for 3 months. So we did that for a couple months, didn't work. So then we signed up with another one that didn't work. Then I tried to do it again for like another year and a half. I felt like they could have been better. So we signed up with another agency, and each time it's just a huge chunk of money. They just made it even worse. So from that moment, I was like, I'm never signing up with an agency again. Ran them myself. And then I've also like now properly learned how to do Facebook ads. Like I spent a lot of time learning everything.
Yeah, for sure. And then what are some of the common pitfalls, or what were they doing wrong that was tanking your ads, possibly things that other business owners could look out for?
I feel like if you have a business, no one knows your product better than you. No one knows your audience better than you. So like when you're creating your ads, you really know what's going to talk to the consumer. Like imagine you are a customer, like what's going to really sell you on that product. So what's the description? What's the video? What type of audience do you want to like show your ad to? So I feel like ad agencies, they don't really know that, especially if you're a smaller business. They're not really too invested. They would probably spend like an hour on your ad account a week and they don't really change anything, even if it's not working and it's not their money. So they're not super invested in it. I don't know. I just felt like that when I'm with an ad agency, they don't really care about you as much as you hope they would.
Yeah. And for all the listeners out there, I feel like I'm not a bad one. So
Oh, sorry. No, well, I just
there are a lot of bad ones out there, and like I audit accounts all the time from people in your situation, and I'm like, what the hell were these guys doing? Like you said, they don't make changes. Like when things are going bad, as an agency, you do need to communicate that to the client, because it's not always the agency's fault. It's not always the business owner's fault either, but there needs to be collaboration in there, and ideas always coming out of like conversations or just trying to get things to improve and constantly be failing forward is a term I like to use. Like it's not always going to work out perfectly, but you do need a vision or direction of where you're going and a bit of a plan on how to reach that goal as well.
Yeah, 100%. Because like all of the agencies we signed up with, just say there was like in the beginning, our website was shocking, but the first ad agency, never said, oh, you need to improve your website or you need better creative. And like, there's just things like that they could have done for us. So yeah, we just got very unlucky.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things. Every time I jump on a call now, I'm just like, no, website. It's like I turn away so much work just because I'm like, go fix your website. But that builds trust over the long term. So,
100%.
Yeah, for sure. So, what are some of the areas that you've worked on the website to improve that user experience or even your average order values compared to what you had in the beginning?
We use Shopify. So when we first started, like our product photos were a lot uglier. Our website was a lot uglier. Our graphics were a lot uglier. I can't say that multiple times in a row. So I think we just improved all the photos, improved like our description, but we also improved like the theme that our Shopify is on. So it just looks a lot smoother now. The past 6 months, we've really tried to invest in making our website better. So we've added in swatches. So if someone goes on our product page, they can like click the little photos to go to the different towels. We've also added in like a free gift with purchase to help with average order value. So
yeah. I think the deal that got me last time was like, because I was only looking to buy like maybe a pair of socks or 2 pairs of socks for my girlfriend for her birthday, just as a bit of a just a filler on top of all the other presents that I got her. Very spoiled. But yeah, exactly. So, but what actually got me is like 3 for $50 or something, and then I also got free shipping, and I was like, I better get that. So
free shipping is a big one.
Upsells and free shipping, just those little thresholds, and if you can sort of gamify it like a little bar in your card or something like that, it goes like, it's not really stuff that you can see. Like obviously you're not watching somebody check out on your website unless you are watching them live. But you can do that, but I don't find many business owners doing that. But those are all the little things that add up, and there's so many things that you could be doing on your website to improve it. So that is a constantly ever evolving thing as well.
Yeah.
So just looking back a bit, what has there been any aha moments and sort of anything that's like really changed your approach to like maybe your daily operations or how you look at marketing?
I probably have like an aha moment every week as I'm always learning new things. Probably my biggest one was like working out how socials work, like organic socials. So like the hook, watch time, posting consistently. So sort of when I understood that, I was like, that's how it works. And then also like with Facebook ads, actually learning all the like numbers and what everything means and how you can read one thing and then that means that, or like if you click through rate's low, something's wrong with the ad or like the description. So actually learning all of that, I was like, that's going to save me a lot more money in the long run. But yeah,
I feel a lot of people with Facebook ads, because I audit so many accounts, they're just using the default columns and then have no visibility on the metrics that they should be looking at, like hook rate, outbound click-through rate, even like the add to carts and stuff like that. It's like you can't see anything, especially like ROAS, cost per purchase, AOV, conversion rate, like all these other metrics that you don't see in the, like I think they call it performance dashboard, and it's couldn't be any further from that word. It's definitely nothing to do with performance, and they just want you to spend some money in there. But if you can customize it, and like you said, like if your click-through rate's down, then you need to change up your copy or your CTA or your headline. So most business owners don't even get to that stage because they get frustrated and end up just say Facebook ads don't work.
Yeah, no, 100%. So those were probably like my biggest aha moments. Otherwise, it's just like small little things. If I learn something new or understand a new process in the like warehouse or on the computer or like fulfilling orders, I'm like,
Yeah, for sure. And if you could go back in time, what sort of advice would you give yourself before you started Cheeky Winx?
Probably to believe in yourself. So I feel like if you are starting a new business, one, there's like a lot of factors playing in your mind. There's self-doubt, there's people doubting you. But if you really believe in the product, you think it's going to work, you've asked like a few people and like some people are like, that actually should work. And even if others are like, no, that won't work, just
Just
go ahead.
disregard
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, if you can do it, just try your best and do it. It may take a lot of time. Like, you do have to spend so much time and energy and money into starting a new business. If you believe in yourself, just keep going, don't give up, and hopefully like it all works out. But if it doesn't work out, don't like think that you're a failure. Just try and try again. So many business owners, like, their successful businesses, like their third, fourth, fifth, sixth attempt at doing a business. So if one doesn't work, just be like, okay, well, maybe my next one will work.
Yeah, for sure. Great piece of advice. And like yourself, you have failed in the past
Yes.
with a previous business. So yeah, that's really good insight. Now, the last bit of insight before I let you go today, just to get a bit of perspective on how long it actually takes you to create a TikTok. Now, I know you're probably more efficient than you were in the beginning, but just as an expectation, I feel like clients have it completely wrong. Like, they're going to pick up the phone, they're going to film it in 5 to 10 minutes, and they're going to be able to post that straight away. They're able to replicate that, get 5 videos out in like 15 minutes. And I don't think that's realistic, but that's what people have in their head. And then as soon as they get that creative block, they're like, oh no, I'm not even going to post today. So yeah, just give a little bit of expectation setting around how long it actually takes to come up with an idea and then to actually take action on that idea.
Yeah. So when I was doing it by myself, it would take a very long time. Purely because, like, you first have to think of the idea, then you got to film it. And depending on what you're filming, is it a day in the life? Is it like a behind the scenes? Is it a funny one? Like, if it's a funny one, like, are you learning something? Like, I would never really do dances, so it wouldn't be like dancing, but are you like trying to mimic an audio? And it's like, how many attempts do you have to do with that? Because you normally don't get it right in the first try. But then if it's a talking video where I have to talk to the camera, like, I probably take like an hour's worth of attempts to actually say the first line right. So for me, it took me a very long time. Like, I would try pump out 4 or 5 a day, and that would probably take like 5 hours of my day. So to me, it was very time consuming, and I could have probably spent that time better doing other things. But it got me to where I am now. So now I've like palmed off that job. So now someone else can do it. But otherwise, like, some videos take a long time. Other videos we can smash out like now within like 5 minutes. But behind that 5 minutes is you're thinking of that idea, where you're scrolling on TikTok trying to think of ideas, which takes hours, and then also editing it, putting a song to it, putting the words. So everything does take time. So smashing out 5 and 15 minutes, that's probably not possible for us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a good tip to give everyone would be to be filming pretty much all the time, like B-roll, B-roll, B-roll. You can never get enough of it. So yeah, I think we'll finish on that note. Before I do let you go, give a quick shout out to your socials and where people can interact with you as well.
Yes, so our website is Cheeky Winx, www.cheekyWinx.com.au. Otherwise, you can follow our socials on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook if you want to follow on there. It's just Cheeky, then _Winx, or Cheeky space Winx will come up either way.
Yeah, for sure. Or just search world famous cum rag, and I'm sure you'll find it on TikTok as well.
Search that will come up.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed this episode, and I'll see everybody on the next one.
Amazing. Well, thank you for thinking of us, and it was lovely talking to you too.
Hey DTC Slingshot listeners, unfortunately today's episode has come to an end. If you did make it this far, I'm pretty sure you enjoyed the episode, so make sure to smash the like, follow, or even subscribe button. Any feedback or engagement really does help us grow. Now, if you do have any questions or insights that you would like to share, then message me on Instagram at LockieSocialSlingshot. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.